Dr. Luke Maxfield back on the show. He's with Aspire Dermatology and Skin Surgery Center, and Luke always comes and has a way of making our conversations fun. But I sat down this morning and here you are with sparkly Vaseline. And I thought, holy cow, this was custom made for you?
It was, yeah. So they sent me this and a lot of other bedazzled products over the holidays, which was very nice.
The reason is because you're going to show us how to use this very simple household product, and it can be, as you put it, a hack for a lot of things. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. So what we have here is just Vaseline. This is pure white petrolatum, and this is a dermatologist hero product. This is in our repertoire, not only in the office, but at home and across a breadth of different medical conditions and scenarios. And it's dirt cheap.
Yeah. And it lasts you.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, let me ask you something. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she works outside, and it was really windy. And she said, you know, I probably looked ridiculous, but I coated my face with Vaseline before I went out to get in that wind because I knew it was going to chafe me if I didn't. Was that a good idea?
It's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, there's some practical limitations of that, but for that specific scenario, that's a killer idea. It's one of its primary properties is that it's an occlusive barrier, which not only in this case, in the case you mentioned, is a protectant, but also it locks things in like moisture. And not only is it an occlusive barrier, but it is also extremely physically inert, extremely hypoallergenic, to the point of an allergy is almost non-existent.
Yeah, you did an interview once and we talked about that because this has nothing false in it. So if you are very sensitive to things, at least the Vaseline you can do.
Yep, exactly.
So I know you're here, you're kind of everywhere, but you love doing social media things, and you kind of had this topic and it went nuts. People loved it. So share a few of the hacks.
You bet. So we'll go through some of the ways you can use this product. So Vaseline, I'd say the first one that's probably relevant to the most people is just a lip balm.
Yep.
So the nice thing about this, again, most lip balms, and we've talked about this before, but have a lot of allergens. Like most lip balms have at least one allergen, if not more. So this being physically inert, and I'm using it, probably not necessary, but you know, you just put a little thin layer on, and that's basically it. It's extremely occlusive, locks in all the moisture of a very thin to non-existent stratum corneum or top layer of the skin that makes up your lips.
So my experience with that, because I like to use Vaseline too for a lip balm, because if I use other things, then my lips begin to tingle and almost feel like they're drying out. Doesn't happen with this. Is it good for like dry, cracked hands?
Yes. Now the thing about Vaseline is, again, it's occlusive, and so it'll lock in all the moisture that your skin has. We've talked about this before too, is the slugging. So this is best for dry hands if you slug. So you put down some layer of moisture first, like a different moisturizer even, or a hydrating serum, and then, you put a thin layer of Vaseline on it, and do that twice a day, even under occlusion, to help heal that skin.
What about wound care?
And that is perfect. This is an ideal wound care. If you have a cut, scratch, scrape, or even a surgical wound, we use this all the time. Studies have shown it's equivalent to topical antibiotics in preventing an infection.
So there's kind of like buzz on the street. Sometimes you'll go and you'll have a wound, and doctors will say, don't put Neosporin on it. So is the Vaseline going to be the same thing as the Neosporin?
Not necessarily. While both can prevent an infection, Vaseline will help it heal faster, and it's non-allergenic. Neosporin is highly allergenic, which is another reason this is preferable for wounds.
If you are, are there other hacks? I don't want to get focused on one thing. Are there other uses?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going then.
Okay, so because of its protective nature, it actually makes a decent eye cream. So there's some question, do you need an eye cream? Do you not? They're kind of expensive to ridiculously expensive, but specifically for like dry, irritated eyes, you just put it on there. I don't care which finger you use. There's some dogma about the ring finger. Doesn't bother me at all.
What?
Yeah, but yeah, it's great for dry, irritated eyes, which I see in the clinic quite often. Doesn't do much for dark circles or aging, but dry skin there.
And is there a limit on how much you can put on?
No, no limit.
If you are any other hack? Because
nope.
you know I'll get us down a rabbit hole.
Go ahead.
Okay, so your nightly routine, you put your moisturizer on and all that kind of stuff. Do you put the Vaseline then on top of that moisturizer?
You do.
Okay, it doesn't need to be directly on the skin. The moisturizer won't be a barrier to it working?
Correct. This is your barrier pretty much. So in general, layering and putting on products is going to go from thinnest to thickest, and this is almost, if not always, the thickest.
Okay, so a lot of us do get dry skin. My hands get really dry this time of year. Hot, you know, washing dishes dries out your skin, all of that. Can you use Vaseline anywhere that you have dry skin? And as long as you do the slugging as you put it, first put your moisturizer on and then this?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the
Like
optimal way.
shins, that kind of thing, it's good for?
Definitely. And you can put this on alone. You don't have to use a moisturizer. That's just a way to optimize its properties as a skin recovery.
Is it good for cracked feet?
It is, but for cracked feet, it would be, again, good for slugging if you layer something underneath, because the skin is so thick, part of it is to soften that up.
Right.
So something like amlactin, I've brought that on this before actually, amlactin or urea, and then put a layer of Vaseline over that on your cracked heels, and that'll probably the most effective way to soften.
You know, the old thing, if you want to have your cake and eat it too, kind of, it is expensive to take care of yourself. So when you can do something inexpensive like this and save your money there to then be able to afford the other things where you need to make that investment, that's a great thing to know.
Yeah, I love it.
I want the bedazzled one.
Yeah, it fits you. It suits you.
Not really. Dr. Luke Maxfield, you'll find him at Aspire Dermatology and Skin Surgery Center in Soddy Daisy. There's his information online, aspiredermatologytn.com. Thanks.
Thank you.
Whether you say bologna, bologna, or bologna, you're going to love our new smoked bologna breakfast sandwich with egg and melty cheese on Texas toast. Or get 2 smoked bologna biscuits for just $3.99. We're Jax, and that's no bologna.
Looking to get stronger? This is your year. Join Planet Fitness today for just $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
We're gonna feel this tomorrow. I'm doing it my way, on my time.
We're just gonna keep showing up. Showing up.
Showing up.
You coming?
Join the club today. Save 28